Hey guys, this is Lauren Klein. I am putting my reading recovery hat on for just a quick minute, and I wanted to touch base with you because many of you are having students who are transitioning back into your classrooms or into LLI from reading recovery. And I know you're receiving a lot of information, or you may have already received some information regarding observation survey results. So I just wanted to make this video very quickly to get some information out to you that may have been communicated already to you with your reading recovery teacher, which probably has happened, but just in case, this can be a reference when you're looking at some observation survey results and about what they mean. So I'm going to send you all this piece of paper, Reading Recovery Correlation Chart, a STAY-9 and observation survey information, as well as a cheat sheet regarding the observation survey. And then a blank observation survey for you to look at. So when we give the observation survey, it's a pre and a post test for reading recovery. We'll also give it at the very end of the year for students who we might have seen in the fall during first round. We give the DRA, kind of like a benchmark assessment. We have to take our students during the DRA past their frustration point by one level, just in case there's something goofy with a name, not a name, but goofy with the text at all, or some reason that a child didn't get it, they might be able to perform well at another level. So we do have to take them past frustration, because it also shows us some behaviors that a child might display at frustration that we can jot down and give you kind of a heads up and say, oh, Johnny really reverts back to sounding out letter by letter when he is in a book that seems really frustrated for him. So it'll help you to prompt him away from that behavior to make sure that you can kind of tell those behaviors are about to be happening. Another piece on here is about fluency and whether or not a child is fluent. We don't give you an oral reading rate. We could. Some teachers might choose to do that, but we do not as part of the observation survey. And then there's the letter identification, which is straightforward. 54 letters. They have to identify text A and text G, which is why we have 54. And then concepts about print is a game, I like to call it, for the kids, where they have to discover what's wrong with the book. So there's pages upside down. There are words that are kind of mixed up, like the word water has R-E backwards, or actually, you know, water, but R-E, and some other things that are a little goofy about the book, and they have to be a detective and find all those issues. They also have to identify punctuation and determine the difference between a word and a letter and show that information to us. So it's a really all-encompassing concepts about print. I really like that assessment for kids. The next piece is a sight word assessment called the Ohio Word Test. They have 20 words. They read them. We record it. And then the writing vocabulary is a child having 10 minutes to write as many words as they can. So it could be a child taking off and writing, or it might be us prompting them, saying, okay, write how about mom, how about dad? And there's a list of words we can prompt them to write down. And we can even say, oh, do you know a word that sounds like that? So that if they get on a roll with word families, that would increase their score. The hearing and recording sounds in words is very familiar to many people. We use it often, and it's just a phonetic-based type of assessment where we dictate and they write down. And then the final piece that we do is the Slauson reading test, which is very similar. It's a sight word-based test, but it goes from, you know, pre-K, K1, 2, and it's kind of gradated, is that a word, of the levels to determine where they fall, and it's just another piece of the puzzle. Somebody once said at a reading recovery conference you just went to that sometimes we do these assessments and it's like an x-ray. An x-ray is not very sensitive. It kind of shows, you know, one piece or one part and one perspective. But the observation survey is a more inclusive type of assessment. It's more like an MRI. It's very sensitive, and you can really zoom in, and if you know enough about it and you know more about it, you can see really where the fractures are in this child's learning and where we need to untangle them. So there are 3 sections to the STAY-9 sheet. So based on what their scores are, it's really easy to read if it's in front of you. And when the child took the test will determine their STAY-9 area. So even if a child scored at the beginning of the year, they only knew 48 letters, that was a low STAY-9, a STAY-9 of 3. But if they only still know, you know, if they only know 53 letters in the middle of the year, it's also just a STAY-9 5. So average STAY-9s are between 4 and 6. So if a child is in that area, they're kind of in the average. And if you remember, the goal of reading recovery is not to make these the lowest of the low children become the superstars, which sometimes happens, but we want to get them to the average of the class. So we're really looking for those average day 9s, which sometimes, occurs. So I wanted to give you that information. If you have any questions regarding this, please don't hesitate to contact me or any of the other very, very capable, wonderful reading recovery teachers. I think the observation survey is a wonderful tool that we use, and when you get that information, I want you to really understand it so you can have great educated conversations regarding your kiddos. So thank you so much.